Water Pollution by Blake Wiley, Grayson Ritts, Joshua Stone, Kai Lewis, and Myron Barker. What is water pollution? Water pollution occurs when harmful substances, often chemicals or microorganisms, contaminate a stream, river, lake, ocean, aquifer, or any other body of water, degrading water quality and rendering it toxic to humans or the environment. Microplastics. These can come from larger pieces of plastic that break apart. In some beauty products, there are microbeads. These can pass through water filtration systems. These microbeads were banned in the US in 2015. The most common type of pollution in bodies of water is plastic. Oftentimes, aqualife and birds can mistake it for food. Microplastics in drinking water. Plastic particles have been found in human bloodstreams. Through the use of lasers, scientists found thousands of plastic particles that are invisible to the human eye. Some of these are small enough to enter the body through cells and tissue. On average, a liter of bottled water included about 240,000 tiny pieces of plastic. 90% of these plastic fragments were nanoplastics. These are 10 to 100 times more plastic particles than seen in earlier studies, which mostly focused on larger microplastics. Coal ash. Coal ash is the waste material produced by burning coal in a coal-fueled power plant. This is also known as CCRs, coal combustion residues, and they are a category of materials. Some of the biggest challenges are disposal and management. Some blow off in wind, others are kept in impoundment ponds, where they leach into the ground. Impoundments can also fail and spill into waterways. CCRs contain hazardous materials. These can contain, but are not limited to, lead, chromium, arsenic, mercury, lime, silica, copper, and nickel. They are known also to be carcinogenic. The environmental impact. Alkaline dust increases the pH of the soil. Contaminants get into waterways where they impact fish and everything that interacts with the fish. Plants absorb contaminants into soil, can contain chemicals in levels that could be potentially harmful to grazing animals and humans. Regulations. It is regulated by the EPA or Environmental Protection Agency, mostly in the ways that it can be disposed of. Ponds and landfills must be sealed. It is not classified as a hazardous waste material. Controls the amount of mercury and other hazardous air pollutants released as dust and soot. 2024 standards reduce the amount of wastewater that can be dumped into waterways. Other solutions. CCRs can be turned into different types of building materials. They can be incorporated into concrete. It is extremely difficult or impossible to remove coal ash contaminants from waterways once a spill occurs. There needs to be stronger regulations on the disposal of coal ash/CCRs. Classifying it as a hazardous waste would improve the regulations on the way it is handled and disposed of. Ultimately, the only way to completely prevent contamination is to shut down coal power plants. Pesticides. Pesticides are chemical compounds that are used to kill pests like insect, rodents, fungi, and unwanted plants. Pesticides are used in public health to kill vectors of disease, such as mosquitoes, and in agriculture to kill pests that are damaging crops. Pesticides are made to kill different organisms, including plants and pests. When used in a control form, their harm can be mitigated. Pesticides can be harmful to humans because they are toxic. They are among the leading cause of death by self-poisoning, and this burden is felt disproportionately in low and middle income countries. Pesticides are regulated in different ways. One way pesticides are regulated is by the registration process. The registration process allows scientists and law officials to examine the pesticides, including ingredients, where it will be used, how harmful it is, etc. The pesticide must pass this process to be legal. PFAs. PFAs, also known as forever chemicals, are a man-made chemical substance used in a broad range of products, from Teflon pans to firefighting foam. They are known as forever chemicals because they break down very slowly over time. When inside a person or animal, they don't break down and continue to build up forever. PFAs were knowingly introduced into the environment in pipelines owned by companies such as DuPont and 3M. PFAs have been linked to harming humans and animals, causing cancer, fertility issues, birth defects, hormone interference, and weakening the immune system. 6 PFAs are regulated by the United States. These 6 PFAs do not cover the entire chemical family. According to the presentation Robert Billett gave on PFAs here at Miami last month, when the EPA regulated C8, the most common PFA, companies such as DuPont switched to another PFA with a different amount of carbons, such as C9 or C7. What is sewage and water waste pollution? Sewage and water waste pollution is when sewage solids, toilet paper, wipes, condoms, or sanitary products are found in the water. As a waste product, it's caused by flushing those items in the toilet, leading to a backup and eventually flood. Cooking fats can also clog drains to lead to flooding and sewage pollution. And finally, misconnections, where certain pipes lead to incorrect places. Sewage and wastewater can have an increase on the amount of algae blooms, starving water of oxygen, and it can kill river and ocean species. It also puts users at risk of contracting illnesses such as viruses and antimicrobial resistant bacteria. Regulations on sewage and wastewater pollution. The government does not regulate sewage and wastewater pollution. According to the Ohio Revised Code, nobody is supposed to place sewage, sludge, or any other waste materials in locations that they might pollute the waters of the state, and it is declared to be a public nuisance. Overall, the government does not try to regulate and eliminate sewage and wastewater pollution, but more harsh punishment could be enacted. Conclusion. As you can see, water pollution affects our lives in many different ways. We all need to do our part to end water pollution, making a safer world for us and the generations that come after. Bibliography.